Every person you pass on the street carries an invisible world within them, a storm of thoughts, fears, desires, and memories. From the outside, we see movement, footsteps, glances, gestures. But beneath that, something deeper pulses quietly, a system of instincts and stories shaping every choice they make. It's strange, isn't it? We live surrounded by billions of human beings, yet most of us don't truly understand why we do the things we do, why we lie to protect, why we chase what hurts us, why silence feels safer than truth. We often call it personality or mood or just the way we are. But human behavior isn't random. It's coded. It's shaped by patterns older than language, patterns that reveal who we are, even when we try to hide it. Human behavior is both predictable and mysterious. We act from logic and emotion, yet we rarely separate the two. We make decisions thinking we're being rational, when in truth, our choices are often emotional, shaped by what we fear, what we crave, or what we once lost. Psychologists describe behavior as the visible expression of the invisible mind. Every action we take, from the way we speak to how we react under stress, is a result of mental processes running silently beneath awareness. Our upbringing, culture, attachment style, even our hormones, they all weave together to form this complex psychological fingerprint. Understanding behavior matters because it's the language of the human experience. When you decode behavior, you see beneath anger to pain, beneath arrogance to insecurity, beneath silence to exhaustion. You begin to realize that most behavior isn't good or bad. It's adaptive. It's a strategy for survival, designed by a mind doing its best to feel safe in an unpredictable world. One of the deepest truths in psychology is that behavior always serves a purpose, even the ones we label as irrational. The person who withdraws from love isn't cold. They've learned that closeness brings pain. The one who constantly seeks attention isn't shallow. They're trying to prove they exist in a world that once ignored them. Psychologists often talk about behavioral conditioning, how we learn through reward and punishment. But beyond that, there's emotional conditioning, the unspoken lessons we absorb about love, worth, and safety. For example, a child who only receives affection when they achieve something might grow into an adult who can't rest without feeling guilty. Their behavior, overworking, people-pleasing, never saying no, is not just ambition. It's an emotional echo. Then there's social learning theory, the idea that we mirror what we observe. We become reflections of our environment. If we grew up surrounded by anger, we learn to defend. If we grew up surrounded by fear, we learn to hide. Over time, these responses harden into identity. We stop questioning them because they work. They protect us, even if they also limit us. Think about how often people act in contradiction to what they say they want. Someone may crave connection, yet push others away. Another might long for peace, but seek chaos out of habit. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the mental tension between belief and behavior. But often it's not hypocrisy. It's survival. The mind values consistency more than happiness. It prefers what feels familiar over what feels right. Consider a simple example. A person who always apologizes, even when they've done nothing wrong. On the surface, it seems polite or harmless. But underneath, it's a behavior of someone who's learned that safety depends on being liked, that harmony must be preserved at all costs. The apology isn't for situation. It's for existing in a world where they once felt too much. In truth, most of us are walking patterns, living out scripts written long ago. We call a habit, but it's more than that. It's emotional muscle memory. We behave in ways that keep us balanced, even when that balance keeps us small. When we begin to see behavior not as random, but as communication, something shifts. We stop judging so quickly, ourselves and others. We start asking quieter, more compassionate questions. What is this behavior protecting? What is it trying to express? Because underneath every action is a need for love, for safety, for recognition, for peace. Human behavior is not a mystery to solve, but a language to listen to. Next, We'll explore how unconscious drives and hidden motivations, the instincts buried deep in the human psyche, shape the way we love, lead, and sometimes destroy. But for now, just pause for a moment and realize this. Everything you do and everything others do carries a reason, even if it's one the conscious mind has forgotten. If every behavior hides a story, then the deeper mystery lies in what drives those stories. The unseen forces within us that quietly dictate who we become. Psychologists have long explored the tension between our conscious intentions and our unconscious motivations. Sigmund Freud called it the iceberg of the mind. What we see above the surface is only a fraction of what truly exists. Beneath it lies a reservoir of instincts, fears, and desires that guide our reactions before thought ever catches up. You see this in moments when logic collapses, when someone falls in love with the wrong person again, or sabotages the opportunity they've been waiting for. We call it bad luck or poor choices. Psychology calls it repetition compulsion, the tendency to recreate familiar emotional experiences, even painful ones, because the mind seeks resolution through repetition. We return to what hurt us, hoping this time it will end differently. Then there's the ego defense system, the mind's way of protecting us from discomfort. Denial, projection, rationalization. These are not flaws, they are survival tools. A person who blames others might be protecting themselves from shame. One who isolates might be protecting themselves from rejection. Every defense mechanism has logic, even when it leads to loneliness. Another layer comes from social conformity. We like to think we are independent thinkers, yet much of our behavior is sculpted by invisible social scripts. We laugh when others laugh, frown when they disapprove, and hide our differences to belong. Psychologists call this normative influence, the subtle pressure to align with a group's expectations. We shape ourselves to fit into society's mirror, even when that mirror distorts us. And still deeper, there's a biology of behavior, the ancient brain that whispers before reason can speak. The amygdala detects threat before we name it. The dopamine system rewards us for seeking novelty, love, or risk. We are wired for both safety and adventure, caution and chaos. That's why human behavior is never linear. It's a paradox. We crave connection but fear vulnerability, seek control yet long for freedom. We're not inconsistent. We're complex. Every contradiction in us is a form of truth trying to coexist. When you begin to see behavior through this lens, compassion replaces confusion. You realize people aren't difficult because they want to be. They're protecting something fragile. The anger is often grief in disguise. The arrogance, a shield for inadequacy. The silence, a form of emotional translation, when words would only betray what the heart can't say. Think of the last time someone reacted harshly to you. The impulse might be to defend or retreat. But what if you paused instead and asked, what wound is speaking right now? You might discover that behind the outburst is a frightened child, one who never felt seen. Human behavior is, at its core, emotional storytelling. Every gesture, every word, every hesitation is a line in the script of a life trying to make sense of itself. We are all authors, rewriting our emotional histories in the language of behavior. Some of us write through kindness, others through control. Some through silence, others through chaos. And yet, beneath it all, the same longing beats. To be understood, to have our inner world met with empathy, not judgment. That's why understanding human behavior isn't just about psychology. It's about humanity. It's about remembering that the person across from you, no matter how they act, is made of the same fragile hopes as you. When we see behavior as communication, we stop trying to fix people and start trying to hear them. And in that listening, change quietly begins. Human behavior is not chaos. It's a conversation, one between the past and the present, between what we fear and what we need. To understand it is to bridge the gap between judgment and empathy, between reacting and truly seeing. So, the next time someone withdraws or lashes out or tries too hard to please, pause. Don't rush to label them. Ask instead, What story is this behavior trying to tell? Because if we can learn to listen beyond the surface, we start to see that most people are not broken, just unfinished. Their actions are echoes of a self still learning how to be safe, how to be loved, how to belong. And maybe so are yours. If this changed how you see people or yourself, take a moment to stay connected. Reflect, subscribe, share. Not for the algorithm, but for the reminder that understanding human behavior isn't about others alone. It's about awakening the parts of ourselves we've yet to meet. Because in the end, the study of human behavior is not about others. It's about us and the stories we carry, quietly shaping the world.